Well, hi there. This is the legendary green bottle blue tarantula, Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, which has to be one of the most beautiful spiders in the world. Honestly, videos and photographs, they just don't do them justice. Now, the name green bottle blue is an odd one, at least until you get a good look at this spider. As an adult, it has a metallic green prosoma, which looks a bit like a green bottle fly. I assume that this similarity is the reason that they're called green bottle. I mean, it is green, like a green bottle, but also like any other object that happens to be green. But it isn't just green, it's also blue. Its legs are blue, like a blue bottle. But green bottle blue bottle tarantula is a bit silly, so green bottle blue it is. And it's also orange, like an orange bottle. But you know what? We've already named it after two colors, so let's just ignore the orange altogether. Green bottle blue and also orange is just too much. And green bottle blue bottle orange bottle tarantula would be pure madness. Green bottle blue, or GBB for short. But the fact is that the GBBBOB tarantula is not only incredibly beautiful, but it also makes a great pet for a whole host of reasons. And today, I want to take a close look at all of those reasons to determine how great of a pet is it really? And is the green bottle blue tarantula the best pet spider for you? And to help us figure this out, we'll have to give the green bottle blue tarantula, that is also orange, a score based on our 5 categories. That's 1 category for each color, and then 2 more bonus categories for each color that we told you about in the name. And those 5 categories are handleability, care, hardiness, availability, and upfront costs. But when it comes to handleability, we give the green bottle blue tarantula a score of 2 out of 5. I almost said 3, but I just can't get there. The reason I was tempted to go higher is because they are not aggressive or likely to bite, and their venom is not anything to worry about at all. Their fangs would hurt, but the venom it'd be little more than a side note. So in this way, they're just as good as the Chilean rose hair and the Mexican red knee, which both get 3 or higher out of 5 for handleability. And both of those, like the green bottle blue, are capable of kicking urticating hairs off of their abdomens at you, which can cause serious eye, skin, and respiratory irritation. So why does the green bottle blue not make it to 3? A couple of reasons. First, this is a somewhat more flighty species than those other 2. The reason I almost never handle tarantulas of any kind is because falls can be devastating for them. And second is because these guys really build a heck of a web castle, and you might need to really dig in there to get them out. Southern house spiders are super easy to handle, but getting them out of their webs is difficult, and this is a bit like that. I really don't recommend handling tarantulas much at all. And while this is better than many old world tarantulas like the Goody Sapphire Ornamental that we recently covered, it isn't one of the absolute best tarantulas to handle either. What tarantulas lack in handleability, they often make up for in ease of care. And being a tarantula that manages to survive in the deserts of northern Venezuela, the green bottle blue is no exception. This is a spectacularly easy spider to care for, and they get a 5 out of 5. But to tell us a bit more about the care of this spider at the various stages of its life is Dr. Joey Muggleston from Great Basin Serpentarium, one of the most successful tarantula keepers and breeders in the United States.
All right, so care on these guys is quite simple. When they are first out of the egg sac, when they have those little second instar slings, we actually keep them in vials. Vials that are, I think they're 50-gram vials that we have. We just keep a little bit of substrate in there, a little bit of moss or a fake plant for them to do their little web on. And then we'll go through and we will feed them and give them a little spritz of water about every 10 to 14 days. You can do it more frequently than that, but we have a few spiders, so it takes a bit of time to get through the whole collection. Once they get to about an inch and a quarter in leg span, we'll move them into larger enclosures, larger deli cups, and the setup is basically the exact same. We have a little bit of substrate down there. At our facility, we prefer a mix of peat moss and vermiculite, about a 50-50-ish mix of that. Because they're a bit of a drier spider, we may do a little bit more peat moss than vermiculite, but about 50-50. The deli cup, same thing though, a little bit of substrate with a little bit of moss or fake plants or something for them to connect the web to. And then as they get older, we just increase the size of the enclosure until eventually we have them in enclosures that are about 15 to 17 inches long, about 12 inches wide, and about 6 or 7 inches tall. And just like all the other life stages, we will put a little bit of substrate in there and a bunch of things for them to connect their web to. So fairly basic care. We keep them fairly dry. We have a water dish in there at all times. There's a lot of discussion as to whether or not water dishes are needed. We keep one in there at all times, and we keep that water replaced frequently. And then we also feed them about every 7 to 10 days. When they get closer to a molt, we do increase the humidity a bit, and that's just entails going through and we fill their water dish or replace their water dish if it's spoiled. We will pour a little extra water right around the dish and just keep that little corner slightly damp during that molt cycle. But past that, that's all there is to these guys. They're fairly simple to care for, fairly nice to look at, a little bit skittish, as mentioned, but a delightful little tarantula to keep.
Thank you, Joey. It's always exciting to see what sort of beard and hair, or no beard and no hair, you're going to be sporting today. The only certainty is that you don't have any shoes on. For those of you who are considering joining Patreon, there's also a pretty elaborate discussion of Joey's feet. So
that's not the best selling point. That's not a good selling point.
When it comes to hardiness, we give Joey's feet a score of 5 out of 5. And the green bottle blue tarantula, the same score. This is a hardy spider. Like all tarantulas, during molts will be their most vulnerable time. Make sure they have access to water before they molt, and that there aren't any crickets or other live feeders that might chew on them while they're soft and defenseless. Other than that, if you keep temperatures away from extremes and give them the basic necessities of life, they should live a long time. Well over a decade for females, a bit less for males. When it comes to availability, we give the green bottle blue tarantula a score of 3 out of 5. You may see these at pet shops from time to time. They will be at a lot of expos, but they probably won't look like GBBBOB tarantulas. They will look like this, like little tigers, little tarantula-shaped tigers. So don't make a big scene about them selling some completely different tarantula and calling it a green bottle blue. This is no green bottle blue, you charlatan. This is clearly an orange bottle green. Because the tiger does have green on the first segment of its legs. In some ways, I think these might be even more beautiful than the adults. And Great Basin Serpentarium is one of the best places that you could get yourself an orange bottle green tarantula, as they breed large numbers of them every year. Is that true? Yes. But if you want to get one from somebody wearing shoes, there are other breeders out there as well, and you should be able to find one online. When it comes to upfront costs, we give the green bottle blue tarantula a score of 4 out of 5. This is an expensive spider. It's not insane, but there aren't very many spiders that are insanely expensive. At least they can be purchased legally. I'm not much of an authority on black market spiders. But after you pay for the spider, everything else will be pretty cheap. The enclosure, I'd recommend something like a 12 by 12 by 12 cube, like a Zoom Ed or similar enclosure. That would be for larger individuals like this girl. You want to see this spider, and they make the whole place look pretty awesome. You'll need some substrate, a water bowl, some objects to climb and cover with webs, and then you're done. It's a spendy spider, but the rest is very budget friendly. And this is why overall we give the green bottle blue tarantula, that is also orange, a score of 3.8 out of 5. That is 1 point for each bottle color and 1/10 of a point for each leg. No points for pedipalps. Not too shabby. This is an expensive spider that is not great to handle, but it is gloriously beautiful, not dangerous, and easy to keep. If that sounds like a recipe you would like to have in your life, then the green bottle blue tarantula might be the best pet spider for you. As always, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you real soon.
Clint, could you please do us the honor of continuing to score Joey's various body parts?
I took a weird turn.
Do we need B-roll of his feet now?
No. Yeah, weird. You got a whole lot of followers.
We have never gotten so many subscribers from one video. Honestly, what I was thinking about all the time today is I was wondering why these aren't just called tricolored tarantulas. I mean, you know, there are plenty of cool tricolored things, and these are very distinctly tricolored. So that would be my non-ridiculous common name for it.
Boring.
Yep. The Venezuelan tricolor. You asked me for a boring name. Then you heckle me for it when I give it to you.
Listen.
Have you ever had to make up your mind? I want you to know that all this discussion about the bottles and the colors of the spider have upset William quite a lot. And every week we create a video that talks about some of the things we discuss after we film. And I have a feeling there will be a bit of a discussion about how much I have disappointed him. If you would like to be privy to that discussion, please consider supporting us on Patreon.